And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's 10 minutes until the top of the hour. My name is Michael Libby, and this is Insight on Business, brought to you by FWRSA. FWRSA, working hard for you on your taxes until the cows come home. Well, it's a social media issue, ladies and gentlemen. Many people out there are trying to use social media for their business and, unfortunately, fail miserably. And I understand why. And because most of the time, social media is thought of as this free thing that you get to use, what doesn't take a whole lot of effort or work. But that's actually the wrong way to look at social media. So we're going to give you 5 tips this morning about how you can utilize social media and then get it right the first time so that you don't have to come back and keep trying. If you want to weigh in on the conversation, you can do that. All you have to do is contact us on Twitter. It's at InsightADV. That's at InsightADV. All right, so what are we talking about when we're talking about social media? Lots of different things. Blogs and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and videos and how you interact with people with LinkedIn. Tons of ways that you can impact your business. But it all centers around one thing. The very first thing that you need to do is not dive into this, but actually have a plan. I know that sounds pretty simple, but what is it that you're trying to accomplish with your social media goal? Is it to just amass a whole bunch of followers or friends or whatever it happens to be? I don't think so. What you want are good paying customers, people to actually try your product or service. And how do you do that? You do that by starting out with a plan. And let's talk a little bit about that. What is it that you want to accomplish? If it's selling more things and getting your name out in front of more people, you've got to sit down before you even crank the first tweet out, before you even build up your Facebook page and consider, okay, what is it that we're trying to accomplish? A, is it more sales? How do we do that? B, is it communicating with our existing customers and getting them to be loyal brand warriors for our cause? What is the plan? That's going to take some time. And if you don't know how to do it, reach out to somebody who's been building plans for businesses in the space of social media for a long time. You won't regret it. It is money well spent, and it'll get you set off on the right foot. Number 2, understand what social media platforms will work well with your key demographic. That's first of all, you got to figure out, are you trying to sell your product or service to everybody? I doubt it. You probably got a significant demographic chunk of folks that you want to get to. Are they male, female, 18 to 49, 25 to 55? Where are they in that whole world? And where do they hang out? What's the most popular social media destination? If they're not in LinkedIn, why would you spend time and effort trying to build your brand on LinkedIn? If they're not on YouTube, why would you do that? If they're not going to be on Twitter or Facebook, where are these people and how do you reach out to them? And how do you find that out? Well, that goes back to the planning stage. You need to be engaging your consumers now. Well, hey, what kind of social media do you? Do you have a Facebook account? How do you do this? And then go ahead and build your plan according to that. It's also going to take, number 3 of the 5 tips, it's going to take a commitment. This is not easy, and it's not free. Let's just go ahead and get that right out, okay? This is not easy, and it's not free. I have seen too many Twitter accounts that are opened up, and then they tweet once a day, twice a week, whatever it happens to be. That's not going to get it done. We've told you before, Twitter is like this constant stream of information. It continually refreshes itself. So if you're not out there often, you're not going to be seen. But you also have to engage other people. You just can't put content out there and expect somebody to say, oh, this person's brilliant. You have to engage other people. If you see something on the Twitter stream that's worth talking about or that touches your business, or it's somebody that has some interesting content, go ahead and do the shout out, retweet them. But it takes commitment. You have to have that piece of information flowing all the time. And there's a couple of ways that we think that you can do that. On the commitment side, first of all, and you've got to have content, but you've got to do this at least 10 to 15 times a day. You've got to be broadcasting your message 10 to 15 times a day on Twitter. If it's on Facebook, you have to interact with other people, right? If you have a personal Facebook account and then you have a business Facebook account, what's wrong with from time to time, not overly done, but what's wrong from time to time to go ahead and just shout out to your friends on your personal Facebook account? Look, if you're in business or if you're in advertising or marketing, you want some free tips, head on over to Inside Advertising's Facebook page. It's that simple. And you don't oversell it, but it does take a commitment, and you've got to watch these streams continuously. If you're blogging, that takes a commitment. My friend Mike Sansoni, who started me in blogging when I thought a Technorati tag was something that Chinese or Japanese children played on the playgrounds, said a long time ago that you have to do at least 3 blogs a week, every week for 3 months in order to become credible. I think that's right. I think if you're trying to optimize your search engine, if you're trying to optimize who you are and get your voice out there, you've got to blog several times a week. We try to hold to the 3-a-week rule for our clients as well. All of these things is the big C. It takes commitment. It takes tools to be able to utilize these various products, but it also takes that commitment of time and money. And it's not cheap. Reality. I think you have to be real about this. You know, it's like, in the broadcast world, with radio or television, newspaper ads, whatever it happens to be, many people think that all they have to do is put an advertisement out there, a billboard up on the street, and people are going to start flocking into their place of business. That's just not true. The reality is that this is a very soft marketing approach. You're building relationships, and the reality is that not every social media platform works in the same way. So you have to come to the realization that this is not an instant fix. Nothing is easy, and it's going to take some time for you to build through that. Don't expect to open up a Twitter account and tweet 5 or 6 or 7 times and think the entire world is coming to your back door. And also, while we're at it, when you're building your audience, we don't suggest that you go out there and buy lists. We don't suggest that you go out there and have some kind of a way in which you can build your followers up to 30,000 in a short period of time. Be specific and be strategic in finding those people who refer to your brand or your business. And then recognition that social media is not broadcasting. It is not broadcasting. It is sharing information. It's building relationships. But reach and frequency, 2 things that we talk about in the broadcasting world, play an important part. So we go back to that commitment level. You've got to be able to reach out frequently to people and let them know who you are and what it is that you're doing. But don't oversell. We uphold, in the Twitter world, we uphold to the idea that you ought to do an 80-20 rule. 80% is conversation, stuff that's going on in your life, stuff that impacts you, things that you've seen, other advertisements, other brands, let's talk about dog food, other dog foods that you enjoy. If you're in the lawn and garden industry, you might give tips to people about what they might be planting first when spring rolls around. All kinds of things just to engage the conversation. And then every once in a while, go ahead and push something about what it is that you're selling, that your product or service is, and engage those people and let them know. Also, make sure that you offer something each and every time, okay? It's a quick list of 5 things that we think that you should do when it comes to social media. 5 things headed out with, all right? Get some help. Seriously. These are deep waters to get into, and if you don't want to waste a lot of time and you want to learn how to do it right, reach out to some people who know what to do. Obviously, we're here to be able to do that for you. If you want to deal with us or whomever you happen to deal with, but not your 12-year-old son. Okay? This is business, kids, and you got to treat it like business. It is an investment. Living with social media, 5 things that you ought to be remembering and doing as you work through your world of social media to build your brand. Speaking of brands, some brands are just tired. I'm going to give one to you. It's called JCPenney. JCPenney has been a framework of shoppers for decades, over 100 years. But what's happened to the brand? We'll talk about that when we come back. Tired brands and what you as a business person need to look out for, and what you as a business person need to do to be able to refresh that brand. It's straight up 9 o'clock in the morning. Thanks so very much for joining us. This is Insight on Business. My name's Michael Libby. We are powered by Webcast One Live.